Okay, so this is my first reading vlog for the subjectively kind of chaos awards. Hi, puppy. So the first book I'm going to be reading is Several People Are Typing, because it's the first book that came in at the library of the group I ordered. I really don't know anything about this book going into it, so I don't really know what to expect plot-wise, and I kind of want to go in blind too. Just taking a quick look at it, it looks like this is going to be a really fast read. It looks like it is completely told in like text messages. I'm just going to open it to a random page and show you. So it looks like it's gonna be super quick, and I'm going to be starting this tonight. I'm doing a reading sprint with Johara on her channel, The Witchy Reader, so I will be starting this then, and I'll probably film a little bit after I read with just like my first impressions. I'm not sure how often I want to film for these vlogs. This is the first time I'm doing reading vlogs, so I'm kind of just experimenting and figuring them out. But I'm thinking like maybe like every quarter of the book checking in, or at least checking in like beginning, middle, and maybe end. If I decide to DNF a book, I will be DNFing it at the halfway mark. However, I don't typically DNF books. I really give them a strong chance to wow me. And all these books have been nominated by someone, so someone believes in them. So I'm expecting to like most of what I read. So that's it for now, and I will probably film again tonight or tomorrow. Okay, so it's the same day as I filmed my first update, but I reached 75 pages. As I originally predicted, this book is a really fast read. Like I said, every page is kind of just like an instant message conversation. One of the things I do like about it is it's obviously meant to replicate Discord. And that's what the book is kind of about. It's pretty much a company's Discord. They're like a PR company, and it's just all the conversations between all the employees. So there's a lot of like silly little banter between everyone, and the main plot is kind of weird. It's one of the workers is literally trapped inside this Discord account. And his body is still in real life, but his mind is stuck in Discord, which is weird. I don't really know what to think of it plot-wise, but I think style-wise it is really cool. And entertaining, I guess. It's not so much funny. I was kind of expecting to laugh, but I'm not really laughing yet. I don't really know where the story's going. And I'll check in again probably at 150 pages, see how I feel about it. Okay, so it's the following day, and I just reached page 165, which is a little bit further than I intended to for my next check-in point. I'm definitely a little past the halfway point in this book, and I gotta say, it's really picked up. I think where I am right now, these stories getting really exciting. I'm getting a little bit more used to the story, getting a little bit more involved in it. I had at least one laugh so far while reading, but overall the humor is it's definitely not as funny of a book as I was hoping, but I do kind of like the oddness of this book, and the further along I'm getting in the story, the weirder things are, and I really like that. It's given me like a similar vibe to the kind of humor in the podcast Welcome to Night Vale, which I really just kind of like that like strange and kind of threatening sort of humor. I feel like this book was definitely inspired by like COVID and working from home during COVID. I don't know exactly when it was written. It did come out last year, so I mean, if it was written really fast, maybe it was written in 2020, but it definitely strikes a chord, I think, with people who have had to work from home. But I think just this book would even really appeal to anyone who works like an office job and likes maybe like funny and kind of weird things. So I definitely understand the appeal of this book. Where I left off, I think things are definitely going to pick up, and I'm actually really interested to see where it's going. But also, like, it's taken like 165 pages for me to like genuinely get into the storyline of this, because it's kind of just like these random tiny conversations and events, and while entertaining, I wasn't super into it up until now, but I'm thinking that the ending might redeem itself, but we shall see. And next time I check in will probably be when I finally finish the book. So I'll see you then. Alright, I'm wearing the same hoodie as yesterday, but I promise this is the following day. It's just when it gets cold like this, I pretty much just live in the same hoodie all the time. But I finished the book last night, as I expected to, so here are my final thoughts on it. Conceptually wise, I thought the book was unique. I liked the style of the book, the way it was written. It really well mirrors a Discord chat. It was a very quick read. I only read it in 2 days, which is very fast for me. And it's an easy read too. Plot felt minimal at the time. Again, it took me until like page 160 to really get into the main plot of this book and to find myself actually like involved in it. And I felt like it took a while to get involved in the characters as well. I think due to the format of the way the story's written, characters kind of feel very shallow, but that's just because of how information is relayed. You know, we only get to see how these people talk on like a Discord chat, so there's a lot missing from the character development there. I did appreciate that there was like distinctive LGBT representation in it. I liked the use of emoticons, and true to how Discord works, instead of actually putting the emoticon image, it was instead just like typed out like the I think it's like colon whatever the emoticon is called, and then another colon. So I liked that. It felt very authentic to Discord again. And I think like talking patterns too also felt authentic to a Discord chat, that like there would be kind of different conversations happening over each other in certain servers, and like people like asterisks correcting what they said in a previous message. I thought that was very appropriate. And another like writing style thing I liked is kind of the like deconstruction of language. I feel like this book might be really difficult to read if you're not a native English speaker or just starting to get into reading books in English, because like the language is just, you can kind of understand the vibe of what's going on, but it does not follow any sort of writing conventions whatsoever. And I really like that, especially how it was used by the AI character, that there's a bot in the Discord, as you can have bots in your Discord groups, and the way it would kind of just like take different phrases that it picked up from the Discord chats and rework them into its own speech, because it didn't seem like it could make sentences the way like we would. It kind of had to learn and spit things back out, true to how a bot usually works, I would assume. I'm not into programming, but I know there's like those like AI like writes a script things where they just like feed an AI all these like scripts, and then it spits out its own versions of them using what it has observed. So I thought that was very authentically recreated. I really like the weirdness in the book. That probably is my favorite part of it. However, I felt like it lacked explanation a lot, and not that it needed explanation, but there's certain plots that like kind of just disappeared in my opinion, and I was like, okay, like I don't really know what happened at this part of the book because it was just so like weird and again kind of vague because of the way the story is relayed. And I think my like final concern about this book is it's really great right now and relatable right now, but I don't think it's gonna age well at all. And I just think about like how before I used Discord, I would use AOL Instant Messenger for like talking to different fandoms that I was involved in, and how that doesn't exist, and I don't think it's existed since I was in high school. And there's just like no trace of it left anymore, and I kind of doubt Discord's permanence. And maybe that's why this book called it Slack instead of Discord. Or I kind of assumed it was probably a copyright thing. But yeah, it just makes me wonder if, like, in 10 years, if Discord will still be around, if this will make sense to, like, people who haven't ever used Discord. I'm sure it will be somewhat understandable, but I think they're, like, some of the, like, references will be lost on people. But overall, I had a lot of fun with this book, and I think that was the main focus of this book, was to be very entertaining, and I certainly was entertained. It didn't delve as far into technology as I thought it was going to, which left me a little bit disappointed, but again, I think this book just intended to be a very light and fun science fiction, and I think it achieved what it set out to be. But I ended up rating this 4 stars. I think it is worth reading. I'm glad I didn't buy it. I got it from the library instead just because it was such a quick read, and I don't really think I'm gonna ever reread it. So keep that in mind if you're interested in getting the book. Overall, very worth reading. So that is my first ever reading vlog. I decided I am not going to do them for every single book. I am going to be reading for the subjective kind of chaos awards because there's a lot I need to read. So I'm only gonna choose a handful of books to do reading vlogs for, but I will talk about every book I read in my monthly wrap up anyway. And I don't know what book I'll vlog next, but I'm getting really into using my library as a resource, and I highly suggest everyone else do as well if they do have a local library. I can't emphasize enough how wonderful of a resource it is, and just like actually using the library is just supporting it in its own. Until next time, please stay tuned.